Good evening. A teenage boy winched to safety after he plummeted down a steep cliff near Sorrento on the Mornington Peninsula is recovering in hospital tonight. With an influx of visitors holidaying in coastal areas, emergency crews say his dramatic rescue is a warning to others. Amber Johnson with the details.
A wind-battered rescue where precision matters more than speed. A teenage boy is stranded on a cliff's edge near Sorrento after falling 5 metres. He's stuck, unable to move, with a shattered leg. A paramedic is the first to descend in conditions that allow no mistakes. There's no way to bring the teenager down, so the rescue can only go up by helicopter. As the pilot battles unrelenting winds, a 9-ton downwash lashes those on the ground. The helicopter's blades almost kiss the rock face, leaving no room for error. And then, after several painstaking hours, the boy is winched to safety. It happened around 10:30 this morning at Diamond Bay on the Mornington Peninsula. The teenager was walking along the cliff with friends when he lost his footing and fell. They were the ones who called 000.
Quite rugged, a lot of rock, a lot of sandy, brittle surfaces that are in that location as well, so quite easy for someone to trip over and fall off the cliff.
There's nothing stopping the public from accessing the cliffs, but the advice from emergency crews is to use common sense. They're urging everyone to utilise the designated paths, especially on windy days like today.
Obviously we've got the designated tracks. However, people do tend to wander and have a look around at the beautiful parts of the bay here as well, and sometimes can become unstuck.
Tonight, he's recovering at the Alfred Hospital with a broken leg. Amber Johnston, 9 News.
A 36-year-old man is dead and another has been charged with murder following a fight and stabbing in Clyde. Friends of the victim tried to drive him to hospital, but he never made it. Here's crime reporter Gillian Lantouris.
Within a minute of this group of men pulling into a Clyde home, an argument breaks out. A bottle is thrown by one man before he's stabbed in a frenzied attack. Injured and bleeding, the victim stumbles back into the car, his friends driving off to get him help, while young families watch their street become a crime scene.
I was scared, so we just hide. Yeah, me and my son just hid.
The men didn't make it far before crashing into another car on Clyde Five Ways Road around 3:30 yesterday afternoon.
That was a terrible situation, yeah.
Landscaper Crispin Membendi saw the smash and dragged the 36-year-old from the wreck.
I just had to call them and say, let's try to pull him out of the car because the car might bend. He had 2 wounds on the stomach. They looked so deep and he had blood all over.
The Endeavour Hills man was airlifted to hospital but died shortly after. While a woman from the other car was also taken to hospital in a serious but stable condition.
A growth area with lots of traffic at that time of day, and for the neighbours to see and hear what happened, it's really sad and quite disturbing.
Neighbours have told 9 News there has been trouble at this home before and the resident hadn't been paying his rent in months. As to what sparked the violence, well, that will form part of the homicide investigation. That 27-year-old man allegedly behind the stabbing has been charged with murder and will face court this evening. Gillian Lantouris, 9 News.
And a man has died after he was stabbed in Fitzroy last night. The victim was found injured at the Napier Street public housing towers just before 10 o'clock. He was taken to hospital where he later died. The homicide squad is now investigating. The families of federal MPs would be restricted to flying economy in changes to entitlements suggested by the Prime Minister. The opposition claims the response to the travel expenses scandal is tacit admission the current system was being rorted. Pat Heaney has the latest.
It was the running scandal over how our federal politicians were flying.
Every parliamentarian has family reunion entitlements.
Now facing greater restrictions on who they take with them.
The all-family reunion travel must be booked in economy class.
One of a raft of potential changes to travel entitlements announced by the Prime Minister, just weeks after Cabinet Minister Annika Wells' spending came under fire, with her husband and kids enjoying sporting events and a skiing holiday at taxpayer expense.
I asked IPIA for advice. I received that advice.
Today, Anthony Albanese revealing he received advice from the Independent Parliamentary Expenses Authority on the weekend of the Bondi terror attacks. The PM writing to the Remuneration Tribunal to propose changes, including restricting partner travel to economy class, restricting family reunion travel to between Canberra and an MP's electorate or senator's home state, scrapping an allowance for 3 annual Australia-wide return trips, and limiting partner travel to events they are specifically invited to and only where that event relates to the portfolio of their spouse's work.
That is, if you're an environment minister, it's connected to the environment, or parliamentary responsibilities as well.
Opposition Senators James McGrath and James Patterson releasing a statement saying the Prime Minister's announcement is a tacit admission that he, Annika Wells and Michelle Rowland presided over a rotten culture of entitlement and arrogance, and that this is a government that has treated taxpayer funds as a personal expense account at every turn.
I do think that there is necessity for change, and I think that we should be trying to make sure that these are used with the right intent.
There would still be some exceptions for ministers and other senior politicians like the opposition leader, and for new mothers and fathers.
We want a parliament that reflects Australia in all its diversity.
The changes will be considered by the Remuneration Tribunal when it next meets in early January.
We'll be constructive in working through the finer details of that.
Pat Heaney, 9 News.
And opposition leader Susan Lee is refusing to back down following a scathing attack on Foreign Minister Penny Wong. Anthony Albanese is now accusing the coalition of abandoning bipartisanship at a time when it's needed most. Emily Saunders with this report.
After the most personal of attacks.
I didn't see Penny Wong attend a single funeral. I haven't seen Penny Wong shed a single tear.
Today, Susan Lee refusing to back down.
I make no apology for my passion on that occasion and my ongoing passion for Australians.
I thought that was a disgusting element of an increasingly partisan pile-on in the wake of a national crisis.
The frustration and anger that Susan Lee is portraying is that of the Australian people in their Prime Minister who has left them.
People will judge whether Susan Lee and others have been engaging in bipartisanship.
Whether bipartisanship will extend to tougher national gun laws is still in question. The Australian people's view appears clear. According to new polling, 76% want gun laws toughened, including 78% of coalition voters and 80% of Labor voters. After more talks with state ministers, today more details of what could be in new federal legislation.
There is goodwill still across all jurisdictions, and I think that's because it's backed so strongly by the Australian people.
The previously flagged gun buyback scheme, more intelligence sharing, import controls and offences relating to 3D printed guns, as well as fast-tracking a hate crimes database, the National Firearms Register and a list of groups that promote hate.
Organisations like Hizb ut-Tahrir and the neo-Nazis for a generation have managed to keep themselves just on the legal side of Australian law.
The real problem is not guns, it's extreme Islamic behaviour.
After the New South Wales Nationals branch voted against gun reform, David Littleproud told 9 News he would wait to see the full detail of the federal government's proposals before deciding whether to extend the hand of bipartisanship. Emily Saunders, 9 News.
In Bondi, businesses that help people caught up in the mayhem are urging visitors and the community to return to the area. There has been some relief for families of the 2 police officers who were injured, one waking from a coma, the other now home. Damien Ryan has today's developments.
2 days out from Christmas, it's the news everyone wanted to hear. Probationary constable 22-year-old Jack Hibbert is back at home. It truly feels like a miracle. That was the statement from his family. The officer shot twice and losing the sight in one eye as he challenged the gunman. Jacko, you've shown strength of a different degree. We are so glad you're at home. Relief also for the family of Constable Scott Dyson, today emerging from his coma after multiple rounds of surgery. And as the wounded recover, so too is the community of Bondi. During those 9 minutes of chaos and horror, cafes and shops became safe havens for people running for their lives. CCTV capturing the panic. There was Ravisi's,
tumbling tables, glasses.
The depot.
Our first response was to pull everyone we could see, and everyone was close into the cafe.
And the Lamrock Cafe.
It was chaos.
But they're now all open. However, a dark cloud still lingers.
This beautiful time of year and the heaviness that's hung.
It has had an impact on what is usually the busiest time of the year.
They rely on this summer. They rely on, the summer to take them through all the way to winter.
So for Sydney-siders, the invitation is there.
As a community, we're tighter than we've ever been, so you're going to get such a beautiful experience coming back to Bondi.
Australia's worst terrorist attack could have been even more tragic. After the allegations in court, homemade grenades were hurled towards the crowd, but they failed to detonate.
It's an indication that as dreadful and as appalling as that terrorism crime was on Sunday, their intention, seemingly, based on the evidence, was to do even worse.
This Jewish symbol, the menorah, has been a beacon of hope throughout this tragedy, and soon it will be relocated from Dover Heights to Bondi Beach, where it will become the official memorial until a more permanent tribute is chosen. And this afternoon, two religions, so often divided, were brought together. Handshakes and hugs at a mosque in Rockdale. Muslim and Jewish leaders, together with a premier on a mission for peace.
There is enormous goodwill in this city. There are good people all over Sydney. But the good people are going to have to stand up and come together and send a message that we are not going to give in to this hate, and we're not going to beat it with more hate.
Well, back at Bondi, a rallying call. The sun is shining and the beach is waiting.
We want to see it bubbly and bouncing like it always has been.
Damien Ryan, 9 News.
The US President has announced a new fleet of battleships for the Navy, and it's named after him. As Lauren Tomasi reports from Washington, the Trump class will be equipped with nuclear-armed cruise missiles and laser beams.
The new Golden Fleet, we're calling it the Golden Fleet.
Donald Trump's affinity for gold is headed for the high seas.
Each one of these will be the largest battleship in the history of our country, the largest battleship in the history of the world ever built.
The Trump-class USS Defiant signalling a new era for the US Navy. 2 ships to begin with, and they're armed to the teeth. Guns, missiles, hypersonic weapons and lasers.
Lasers, where you aim the laser at a target, it just wipes it out. We're going to have, they'll be the most sophisticated lasers in the world.
For the first time in generations, we'll have a new leg in America's nuclear deterrence, because the Trump-class battleship will carry the nuclear-armed sea-launched cruise missile.
Naval power in progress as the US faces growing tanker tensions in the Caribbean. America's Coast Guard is in pursuit of its third oil tanker in 2 weeks amid a growing campaign against Venezuela. Donald Trump again threatening a ground assault on the country and issuing a warning to its president, Nicolas Maduro.
If he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough.
Tonight, the US Navy set for an upgrade and the president to receive another namesake as he moves to leave a permanent stamp on the United States of Donald Trump.
And our adversaries will know when the Trump-class USS Defiant appears on the horizon, American victory at sea is inevitable.
In Washington, D.C., Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
Christmas thieves have struck at a Colac toy shop. 2 men snatched thousands of dollars worth of Lego after casing the business the day before. Jack Ward has that story.
Stripping one of the most sought-after presents from the shelves, these thieves wasted no time climbing to the top of Santa's naughty list.
It's hope you're a happy time, but on the weekend for us, it was complete opposite.
The 2 Grinches broke into Colac's toy world on Sunday morning. Armed with torches, they went straight for the Lego and threw $3,000 worth of sets under their arms.
It's just disgusting. I mean, get a job. I hope they enjoy their little haul and that they get caught, because that's low.
The heist almost fell apart as the pair fumbled their escape to a parked car on the street.
It's outrageous. I mean, why people would do that at any time of the year, let alone at Christmas.
It appears the men came with a shopping list, caught speaking to staff and browsing high-value Star Wars and rocket sets the day before.
We all thought it might have been the Grinch, however, it was unfortunately not.
This time of year you can't replace that stock, so we've got to try and recover the best we can.
But while some are stealing joy, most are choosing kindness this festive season. The shop has been overwhelmed with the support of its own community as people drop in to purchase last-minute gifts.
It was one of our reasons to come today, rather than going to Kmart or somewhere, was just to come up here and support him.
Jack Ward, 9 News.
Rehearsals for tomorrow night's Vision Australia's Carols by Candlelight are underway at the Mime Music Bowl. And that's where we find Penelope Lish. Penny, crowds have gathered for a sneak preview of the Christmas Eve tradition.
Hundreds of people here tonight. Brett, of course, it wouldn't be Christmas Eve without Carols by Candlelight. And as it's Christmas Eve, that means all of the performers need to make sure they'll get everything perfect on stage tomorrow. We've just heard the cast of MJ the Musical finish up their practice session. Of course, tomorrow night, the show will be headlined by US country star Lainey Williams. There'll also be everyone's favourite Carols by Candlelight acts, Dennis Walter. We've also got, of course, Marina Pryor, Sylvia Palladino, Emma Memma, and hopefully the weather really similar tomorrow night too, because everyone is enjoying this evening sunshine out on their picnic blankets, getting into the Christmas spirit. And as always, Brett, everyone will also be able to join in from home tomorrow. You can catch it all from 8 p.m. here on 9 and on 9 Now.
Should be a great night. Penelope Lish, thank you. The Melbourne Cricket Club boss has welcomed Victoria Police's decision to arm officers with semi-automatic rifles at the Boxing Day test in the wake of the Bondi terror attack. Stuart Fox says he's pleased with the added security measure and thinks fans will be too.
We've got some of the best tech in the world and we want to make sure it's safe for everyone to be here.
He's urged cricket fans to get to the ground early to allow time to get through security. Let's check tonight's sport now. Here's Nat Unides.
Brett, speaking of Boxing Day, the squad for the 4th test is in and we could see 2 Vics at the MCG. Sam Jordan has been with the team.
With Nathan Lyon undergoing hamstring surgery today, Todd Murphy has been called in to replace him. The spinner training with his teammates this afternoon, but he's no guarantee to play alongside Scott Boland on cricket's biggest day. I'll tell you why a little later in sport.
Thanks, Sam. Now, while some Aussies hit the MCG today, others lobbed into town late after celebrating the Ashes win, or with the team's approval, of course.
There's always concern. No, they've earned that. They're responsible adults. They know what they've got coming up. They know there's a game at the MCG.
Good to hear. Also why the Bombers believe change is a good thing. A Sydney Hobart favourite racing the clock to be ready. And it was raining teddies at the basketball. I'm going to explain all that a little bit later on in sport, Brett.
Look forward to that. Good on you, Nat. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Now, after the break, off the hook, why teens who stormed and trashed a Bayside shopping centre won't be charged. Melbourne lands a new international airline as travellers are warned about festive disruptions, remembering Chris Rea, the man behind the festive hit Driving Home for Christmas. Plus a massive great white lurking off a Surf Coast hotspot. More than 1,700 jobs are expected to be axed just 2 days before Christmas after a national security company went into administration. Melbourne-based MA Services Group holds contracts with retailers including Coles and Kmart, plus AFL clubs and universities across the country. Administrators say the company has breached licensing conditions and is unable to lawfully continue its core functions. There's been a development in the investigation into the teenagers who stormed the Mordialloc Woolworths. Crime reporter Gillian Lantouris joins us now with the exclusive details. Jill, it appears they won't be charged.
No, Brett. Essentially, Woolworths has decided not to make a complaint to police about the criminal damage caused during the chaos. So really, there's not much more police can do. Basically, Woolworths in this case is the victim. Without the victim making a complaint, no charges can be laid. Of course, it was last Wednesday when up to 200 teenagers stormed the supermarket, scaring customers and staff. They then went on to cause chaos near the pier, and that's when police were called and pepper sprayed several people. Now, police will continue to investigate those brawls and that criminal behaviour, so they're not completely off the hook there. But look, I have reached out to Woolworths and asked them why they haven't made that formal complaint to police, with no answer. Brett?
All right, Gillian Lantouris, thank you. Melbourne Airport has landed another new international carrier. Shenzhen Airlines has touched down in Australia for the first time. It's arrived as travellers are being warned about delays getting to Tullamarine over the holiday break. Here's Ollie Haig.
A water cannon salute as the Chinese bring festive cheer to Tullamarine.
Shenzhen Airlines has just offered itself as the best gift to the Melbourneese people as a Christmas gift.
Shenzhen Airlines choosing Melbourne Airport to launch direct flights to Australia, connecting us to one of China's biggest cities, Shenzhen. Services will operate 3 times a week on an Airbus A330.
I think this offers more bridges and more opportunity to connect our people together.
The Allen government wants to double the number of Chinese visitors coming to Melbourne by 2029 to 800,000. So it's splashing taxpayers' cash to win over more airlines.
We're obviously contributing an amount to this initiative, which I won't specify for commercial reasons.
It's the 10th Chinese carrier to land in Melbourne, following Sichuan, Beijing Capital and Hainan Airlines. The arrival of another airline comes at a time as Melbourne Airport undergoes one of its biggest transformations in decades, prompting an important reminder to travellers to pack their patience.
We don't shy away from saying we have some big problems to solve, and the road network is one of those.
With queues like this coming into the Terminal 1, 2 and 3 drop-off area just this afternoon, the boss of the airport says travellers should expect disruption over the festive period.
The road network, our baggage systems, that's really like having a heart transplant in the middle of running a marathon.
Her advice: consider using the Terminal 4 drop-off area instead and arriving 2 hours before a domestic flight.
We still have a lot of people parking at T123 that would be better served by parking at T4.
Ollie Haig, 9 News.
The senior Russian general has been killed in a car bombing. It appears to be the latest targeted assassination of a senior military official in Moscow. And there are suggestions Ukraine's special services may be behind the attack. British musician Chris Rea, best known for the festive hit Driving Home for Christmas, has died aged 74. As Hannah Sinclair explains, the singer-songwriter battled serious health issues for years.
A festive favourite, tonight a tribute.
I'm driving home for Christmas.
The man behind the holiday tune passing away just days before Christmas. Chris Rea was born in Middlesbrough in England in 1951. One of 7 siblings, he didn't buy his first guitar until he was 21. But in the years that followed, found fame with hits Full If You Think It's Over and The Road to Hell. In 1978, he penned Driving Home for Christmas.
My manager had just left me. I'd just been banned from driving.
Right.
My now wife, Joan, she had to drive down to London, pick me up in the Mini, and take me home.
Right.
And that's when I wrote it.
The festive hit released 8 years later.
Do you like Christmas, Chris?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah, I love it.
The singer's career brought to a halt for a while when he was 33, diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Rea later suffered a stroke and had other health issues. His death announced by his family. It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of our beloved Chris, who died peacefully earlier today following a short illness. His last post, a photo of his lyrics on a road sign and the words, "Let's hope the journey's a smooth one." Chris Rea leaves behind his wife of 57 years and 2 daughters. He was 74.
With 1,000 memories.
In London, Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
Back home, and fishermen have had quite the surprise in Lorne, where a massive great white shark was spotted lurking around the pier. It popped up close to fishing lines last night. The shark estimated to have been between 3 and 4 metres long. Look out. Time to check in the weather now with Madeline Spark. Is it still looking cool for Christmas?
Yeah, it is, Brett. It's looking like the coldest day of the week, I'm afraid. If it only reaches 17 degrees, which is the forecast, it'll be the coldest Christmas since 2006 when it only made it to 14.5. Now, over the years, Melbourne's had a mixed bag of Christmas Day weather. Last year was a hot one, 33 degrees. In 2023, it was cooler, 24. The year before that, 32 degrees. Now, the hottest Christmas day on record was back in 1907 when it was a scorching 40.7. Now, if you are travelling to Perth, that is what you could expect there on Christmas Day. I'll have more details on what the rest of the holiday season looks like here in Melbourne for you in about half an hour's time. Brett?
Great. See you soon. Thanks, Maddie.